All right, so we're going to take a look at the 4 problems you worked with. The theme with these problems was that you were using molar mass in situations with things that are elements and compounds, and using that molar mass to convert between moles and grams, or vice versa. So in this first style problem, the theme here was that you were starting with moles and they wanted to know grams. For example A, we have aluminum. So I'm going to go ahead and write out my given. So I have 5.12 moles of aluminum. The next thing before I can move on is that it wants grams. So that means I need to know the molar mass of that. So if I use my periodic table, and because this is an element, it goes pretty quick. So the molar mass for aluminum, once it's rounded, is 26.98 gram per mole. Now, let's just say hypothetically you aren't using the same periodic table that I handed out, or we round our molar masses slightly different. That isn't considered incorrect. I'm looking more at the process so you guys understanding how to get your numbers, not how can you round your numbers, okay? If you remember that grams per mole is our conversion factor. So some of you I noticed aren't putting units on things, and that's where things are going to get a little bit tricky for you. So you got to make sure you're using those units. So because I have moles to start, 1 mole is going to go in the bottom. That means the molar mass of 26.98 is going to be my top piece of information. So for this style, I'm going to multiply. To 2 decimal places, I get an answer of 138.14 grams. And again, I like to include what it is, aluminum, and that decimal didn't show up. There we go. For example B, we have this 0.145 moles of this C2H6O. Molar mass is going to be a little bit more work because we have a compound. So that's why I had you guys start out with this last week, so that we weren't kind of combining all sorts of things at once. We were kind of breaking it into hopefully some manageable pieces. My pen isn't wanting to write. There we go. C2H6O. So we have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen to make our list. We have 2 carbon, 6 hydrogen, 1 oxygen. When you utilize your periodic table, carbon's molar mass is 12.01, hydrogen is 1.00, and oxygen is 16. If you recall, we multiply those and add them all up. When I do that, I got an answer of 46.02 gram per mole. Again, much like example A, our given unit is moles. Therefore, mole should be in the bottom, so 1 mole is going to be my bottom conversion. The molar mass of 46.02 grams will be the top. I didn't do this in example A, but I can eliminate those, and I can eliminate here. So again, for this particular problem, you're going to multiply it out. When you do that, I got an answer rounded to 6.67 grams of the C2H6O. Again, if your numbers vary just a little bit due to rounding, you are perfectly okay. As we move on and look at the next style set of problems, we are now starting with grams or mass, and they want to know how many moles we have. So this first one, we're working with just an element, potassium. So we have our given of 144. So what we can do is access our periodic table to get its molar mass. So molar mass of potassium is 39.10. Again, recall that unit is grams per mole. That helps decide where your information is going to go. You're starting with grams. Therefore, you must divide by grams. So you should have put 39.10 grams in the bottom, and 1 mole will now be in the top. So in these style problems, we are now dividing versus multiplying like you did on the front side because we are starting with grams. So when I did that step, I get an answer of 3.68 mole of potassium. This last one, same idea. We have 308 grams of this barium sulfate. So we do need molar mass. And because it's a compound, we want to take that inventory. The one thing I did notice on some homework, I know that one, number 4 on worksheet B, gave some of you trouble. Just make sure you remember that those uppercase letters represented different symbols. So a lot of you were trying to use a polyatomic like it was some kind of element or something along those lines. Notice that in the SO4 part of this, so we have barium, sulfur, and oxygen because of that uppercase, lowercase format. That O isn't lowercase, not that there's an element that's S lowercase o. So again, make sure you're looking for those signatures. So we have 1 barium, 1 sulfur, 4 oxygen. Once you utilize your periodic table and round them off, barium, I used 137.33. Sulfur is 32.07. And oxygen is 16. Again, once you multiply and add these 3 up, I got an answer of 233.4 gram per mole. So again, once it goes to how do I plug this in, you're starting with grams. Therefore, grams must be your bottom piece. So the 233.4 grams will go in the bottom. 1 mole will be the top piece. Grams eliminates. When I divide that out, I get an answer of 1.32. I'm left with the unit of mole, and we're talking about barium sulfate. So, a couple of things. Hopefully my videos are a little less annoying for you. I finally found something for my Apple Pen, so we don't have to listen to that horrendous clicking as the pen wrote on the screen. The other thing is I had somebody reach out about audio, so if there's any issues with my videos, if there's something I can do to improve them, by no means am I trying to become a famous YouTube individual, but if there's anything I can do to make this easier on you, please feel free to give me feedback, and I will do my best to accommodate that. Finally, the other thing is it seems like I'm getting more questions, which is great. I've thought about using Zoom or Google Hangouts and having kind of a time that you guys log in. However, not all of you have the same question. And so I want to prioritize and make your time useful. And so what I'm thinking is the best option moving forward is that if there is any time that you just need to see me, to talk with me, and just that kind of dialogue between email or a Google Hangout message just isn't working for you, I will gladly hop onto Google Hangouts and we can have a video conference and we can work through problems together. So I don't want you guys to be feeling lost or overwhelmed. I know this is a very different platform and you guys had to make some big adjustments, and I want to say I'm very proud of how you guys have done with it so far. But what I'm trying to get at again is I don't want you to feel like you're lost in the weeds and there's no one there to help you. I'm available most time of the day. Like I said, I have nowhere to be and all day to get there, and I'm sure many of you kind of feel the same way. So please send me a message or an email if there's a time that you want to schedule. I can get you on a sticky note so I don't forget, and I can sit and have a hangout message with you guys and get you any help that you need. Otherwise, like I just mentioned, if you need anything, just reach out.